What if I told you that one-engine technology was so advanced, so efficient, and so ahead of its time that it shocked the entire boating industry? And yet, the world never fully understood it. Today, we uncover the real truth behind Evinrude's ETEC engines, the rise, the fall, and the secrets hidden inside. The engine that sounded like science fiction. Before we dive into controversy, imagine this. An engine that starts instantly, wastes almost no fuel, produces fewer emissions, and barely asks for maintenance. Sounds like something from the future, right? That engine already existed. It was the Evinrude E-TEC, and when it launched, many experts thought it could change the marine world forever. Not because of the horsepower, but because of what was happening inside. Unlike traditional four-stroke engines that require oil changes, valve adjustments, and complicated moving parts, the ETEC used direct injection two-stroke technology so clean and precise it felt unbelievable. The first shock? ETEC engines barely smoked, barely vibrated, and responded instantly, like a sports bike grafted onto a boat. People who tested them said the same thing. It doesn't feel like a normal engine. It feels alive. The promise: no dealer for 3 years. Next, let's talk about the claim that shook the boating world. Evinrude advertised their ETEC engines with a bold promise. No dealer scheduled maintenance for 3 entire years, or 300 hours. Think about that. No oil changes, no valve tuning, no spark plug replacement, no winterization. This was unheard of. Customers loved it. Mechanics hated it. Competitors feared it. Because if E-TEC's promise were true, it meant one thing: the technology was decades ahead of everyone else. Was the world ready for that? The secret weapon inside: permanent magnet alternator. Let's uncover the engineering magic. Evinrude placed a powerful magnet-based alternator under the flywheel. This allowed the engine to recharge batteries super fast, power electronics without stress, and deliver stable voltage even at idle. This wasn't common tech. It was a kind of design you'd expect in aircraft engines, not fishing boats. But it wasn't the alternator that blew people's minds. It was a fuel system. Fuel droplets so precise, they looked digital. The heart of E-TEC's power was its stratified direct fuel injection. This system sprayed fuel so precisely that droplets almost looked like miscontrolled by computer code. Every drop was measured. Every explosion was calculated. Every ignition timing was laser sharp. What did this mean? More torque with less fuel. Cleaner emissions than most four-stroke engines. Instant throttle response. Less smoke, even at startup. Fewer moving parts, meaning less to brake. It was a two-stroke engine that behaved like a four-stroke, but better. People joked that the ETEC wasn't actually an engine. It was a supercomputer disguised as one. The U.S. military tested it and loved it. Here's something most people don't know. When the U.S. military tested outboard engines for special operations boats, the ETEC shocked them. It was faster, more durable, more fuel efficient, easier to repair in the field, and capable of starting even after extreme conditions. It passed water immersion tests. It passed freezing tests. It passed heat torture tests. In some cases, it outperformed engines twice its size. That alone proves the technology was real and impressive. But then, something happened. If the ETEC was so good, why did Evinrude shut down? Why did this revolutionary technology suddenly disappear? This is where the story becomes truly shocking. Because the fall of ETEC wasn't due to engine failure. It was due to corporate deals, shifting industry trends, massive competition, and one unexpected event that shook the entire world: COVID-19. But the roots go deeper. The booming rise of four-stroke engines. Imagine an industry where one idea becomes so popular that it overshadows everything else. That's what happened with four-stroke engines. Brands like Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda poured millions into marketing. Four-stroke is cleaner. Four-stroke is quieter. Four-stroke is the future. People believed it. But here's the twist. On paper, ETEC was just as clean, sometimes cleaner, and often more powerful. Yet the public perception became one-sided. Dealers preferred four-strokes because they required more frequent service. Manufacturers preferred them because they dominated the market. Suddenly, Evinrude's futuristic tech felt like it didn't fit anymore. The lawsuit era. Another shock came from lawsuits and regulations. Even though ETEC engines passed many emission standards, some regions tightened restrictions, especially on two-stroke engines, without distinguishing between old and new technology. ETEC was a clean two-stroke, but the world heard two-stroke and assumed dirty. This damaged Evinrude's reputation unfairly. The BRP decision that ended it all. BRP, the company that owned Evinrude, eventually made a decision that stunned everyone. At the height of the pandemic, when factories shut down and supply chain collapsed, BRP decided to stop manufacturing all Evinrude outboards permanently. But here's the twist most people miss. They didn't kill ETEC because the engines were bad. They killed it because demand shifted to four strokes. Dealership structures changed. Production costs increased. And BRP wanted to focus on boats like a Lumacraft and Manitou instead of engines. In other words, the technology didn't fail. The market did. The engines still running today tell their own story. Thousands of ETEC engines are still in the water right now. And the shocking truth? Most of them still run beautifully. Owners say, starts instantly. Crazy throttle response. Fuel efficient even after years. No major issues. Some engines even pass 500+ hours with minimal repairs. If these engines were truly flawed, they would have disappeared from lakes long ago. But they didn't, because the technology wasn't broken. It was simply unmatched. Why the ETEC story still matters. Today, the world is chasing cleaner engines, higher efficiency, lower maintenance, digital control systems, less environmental harm. ETEC had all this 10 to 15 years ago. It was a technology ahead of its time, so far ahead that the market couldn't catch up. Just like electric cars existed before Tesla, ETEC was a marine miracle that arrived too early. The final reveal, what people still don't know. Here's a final shocker. Even after shutting down Evinrude, BRP announced that the ETEC and E-TEC G2 technology may return in future marine products. Why? Because the tech is too powerful, too efficient, and too unique to disappear forever. ETEC wasn't a failure. It was a glimpse into what marine engines could become, and maybe what they should have already been. Conclusion. So next time you see an ETEC on the water, remember, you're not just looking at an engine. You're looking at a piece of marine engineering history, a machine that arrived too early, shined too bright, and left behind a legacy that still shocks the industry today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and tell me which engine mystery you want next.